Hi there, and welcome to another Crusader Kings 3 gameplay tutorial on the Iron Workshop. Managing all of your vassals can be quite a daunting task, and if you want to know how to please your vassals, you can check my video on that in the upper right corner of the screen. So let's cue the intro and see the 5 ways in which you can get rid of these troublesome vassals. Number 1. Create accidents. One of the most obvious ways in which you can get rid of your troublesome vassals is to make sure that certain accidents will happen to them. You can see a list of your vassals by clicking on Realm and making sure that you're in the Vassals tab. In here you'll have a list of all of your vassals, and you can right click and select the Accident option. Now, the amount of success of your accident depends on a lot of things. One way to improve the potential of the accident is by recruiting various agents. These are people who are related in one way or another to your target, and they can assist you in carrying out the accident. However, keep in mind that the more people that are involved with the accident that you are planning, the more likely that the secret will be spilled out and the target may become aware that an accident is coming, which will greatly reduce the chances of success and will also increase the chances of your character being discovered as the one who is plotting the accident. Another way in which you can increase the chance of the accident is by clicking on Council and assigning your Spy Master the Support Schemes task. This will increase the probability of your planned accident depending on the skill of your Spy Master. One obvious downside to the accidents is that if you are discovered as the person who has planned this accident, then you might get the Murderer trait, which will greatly reduce your opinion. This penalty is even more severe if you are planning accidents against your own family or somebody of your own dynasty. But if your character has a high intrigue skill, then you will probably be able to get away with it. You can see the level of your intrigue by clicking on your character and checking the intrigue level in here. Obviously, intrigue can be improved by taking the appropriate lifestyle and improving your skills with the various perks. Number 2, make them a martyr. Another way to get rid of vassals who are giving you trouble is to recruit them as knights and make sure that they fight in your wars. You can see the list of knights in your military tab. In here you'll have knights, and these are the characters that you can recruit as your knights. In here you can decide if a character is forbidden from becoming a knight, allowed, or you can even force them to become a knight. So if you have a vassal which you want to dispose of, you can force him to be a knight. You will need to assign him to an army, so to do that, find your army, click on it. In here you can change the commander by clicking the Select New Commander icon, and then just choosing your vassal which you want to do the fighting. Now, depending on the skill of your vassal, it is very likely that the chosen vassal will be hurt in combat and sometimes may even be killed. So this is a great way to get rid of vassals without taking any personal blame for why they died. The only downside to doing this is that that vassal, if he succeeds in combat, he may actually gain traits that will increase his prestige and his influence in your realm. So this is a great way to get rid of vassals who might have high diplomacy skills or high intrigue skills, and put them on the battlefield where neither their intrigue or their diplomacy will be of any help to them. Number 3, find a reason to jail them. Now, this is something that I don't really have a specific example for, but like any other character in Crusader Kings 3, vassals may sometimes behave in ways which are not appropriate to what society sees as acceptable. They may have some affairs, or they might commit some other crimes, which will give you enough of a reason to jail them. Vassals who are in your jail cannot join factions, and you can actually make sure that they leave this world a little bit faster by putting them in the dungeon. If you move them to the dungeon, this will greatly reduce their health and will damage their other skills. You can find reasons to imprison your vassals by holding feasts, where people are most talkative and may reveal secrets, or you may also assign your spy master to discover secrets in the courts of the designated vassal. To do this, click on Council, select your spy master, and assign your spy master the mission Find Secrets. Once you do that, you just need to click the location where you want the secrets found. Usually it's best to do this in the capital of your vassal. And once your spy master starts working, if he's skilled enough, there's a high probability that he will find some secrets, and some of these secrets may be enough to put the troublesome vassal in jail. Number 4. Revoke their title. Another thing that you can do with troublesome vassals is revoking their title. Vassals who do not hold the appropriate titles will not be able to rally as much support as vassals who hold a large territory in your realm. To do this, just find the relevant vassal, right-click, and select Revoke Title. Revoking a title from your vassals should only be done as a last resort, since this action will give you a penalty of relations with all your other vassals, since it's considered an act of tyranny if you do this with no reason. You can revoke the titles of criminals without having this penalty, but obviously you will need to find a reason to do that first. One thing that's very important to note is that if that vassal is part of a faction that has organized against you, if you revoke their title or try to imprison them, the whole faction will rise up in revolt. So you need to be very careful about which vassals you do it and in which circumstances. As I said, this should only be done as a last resort, especially if your character has high diplomacy and you will have the skills to repair the relations with the rest of your vassals quickly. Number 5. Allow them to become criminals. If you are facing a few vassals together who have ganged up on you and are threatening to go to civil war unless you meet their demands, sometimes it may actually be a good idea to go to war with them. For example, in here right now, I have all of these vassals who are threatening to go to war with me unless I lower crown authority. Now, these vassals can actually make demands once their military power is at 80% or more than my military power. Vassals who have military power that is similar to yours will send you an ultimatum and will expect you to accept their demands. The upside of this tactic is that the AI is not really great at fighting wars and will often make really silly decisions, allowing you to win wars even if you are outnumbered. And oftentimes in these uprisings, you will only have to take the capitals of a few of these vassals to win the war. Once the uprising has been defeated, you will automatically jail all of these vassals without having to do this one by one and without suffering any kind of tyranny penalty, since they are criminals who have revolted against their liege. After they are imprisoned, they will no longer be able to join any factions, and you will have a rightful reason to revoke some of their titles. This method is mostly recommended for characters who have a high martial skill and can summon a lot of levies, or characters who have a high stewardship skills and have a good abundance of money in reserve. If you have a lot of money in reserve, your vassals might consider you weak without taking into consideration that you can hire mercenaries and thus actually have an army bigger than theirs. Allowing all of these vassals to revolt will actually become a trap for them, since once you beat this revolt down, they will all be jailed and you will no longer have to worry about them coming together against you in the future. Alright, so these have been 5 ways in which you can get rid of troublesome vassals. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like. That will greatly help the channel and the algorithm. If you have any other creative ways in which one might get rid of troublesome vassals, please let us know in the comments so that we may all learn from your experience. Please remember that these game guides are very general and may not suit every situation. So yeah, there's probably a situation in which in which one of these tips may not be valuable at all, but in other cases, this might actually be a valuable technique to use. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video on the Iron Workshop. Bye bye. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. The algorithm and me will be very happy. Here are more videos I make. If you like my stuff, consider subscribing to be notified when new content is available. The Iron Workshop lives and thrives thanks to the continued support of my Patreons. If you're willing and able, you can support me on Patreon for just $1 and get access to exclusive and early content. See you around.